Hello and welcome to Trending Brief Experience, where we delve into the latest trends and stories.
Hello you, I hope you are doing fantastic. It is a beautiful Friday, of course. You know, the sun has started to go away, the heat is ravishing away, and it is still getting cooler. Winter is coming. Again, another vlog, we'll see where this goes. I'm just driving to an appointment somewhere. I don't know, I felt like dressing up today, so I don't know what you guys think. In a nice little cheeky, you know, just nice suede jacket, striped shirt, and a tie. Don't know what you think. Leave a comment down below what it is you think. So much mayhem, of course, is going on, of course, on the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and somehow the Nepal parliament was overthrown by probably that school kids that incited so much conviction to this conversation. To be honest, when I saw that conversation, I didn't have a bloody clue what he was talking about in the first place. As I stand here of Nepal. And he went on talking about some of the things about imperialism. I don't particularly know the whole story, but I do seem to have confirmation on the news that I was watching the other day and the day before. Apparently the Prime Minister's been killed, and it would quite literally seems that the entire Parliament has been ransacked. So who would take over? I didn't know. Nepal was one of those countries, I didn't really know what was going on. You don't really hear about it. I got some mittens I bought that was made from them abroad. I ordered it online a few years ago. As far as my ordeal with Nepalese, I've only met one Nepalese person in my life. I don't even remember his name, but it was a very, very polite individual for sure. I don't know any of the other dexterities, the intricacies that happen in the politics in Nepal, but if someone wants to actually let me know in the comments, would really appreciate it. As usual, please leave a comment where you specifically are commenting from, because I just want to know where my reach is going, whether or not it's going outside of just Cambridge, whether or not it's staying in Cambridge, whether or not you're in Russia, Portugal, Spain, you name it. Just leave a comment down below. It would be highly appreciated. We do know so far though that regarding Charlie Kirk, on the other hand, the person initially arrested was not the suspect. They then arrested another two people, but there was no connection found to the shooting. I did find it a bit strange as to how, you know, someone managed to get so much clearance just 200 yards from where he was, on the roof as well. We do know that Charlie Kirk has done these sort of conversations, Q&As at other universities across America. Let me just turn that down because I have a feeling I could get copyrighted. We'll see. I don't know really to how long and what the repercussions will be, but if you wanted to bet something on it, we don't do betting. If you're under 18, don't bet. You shouldn't bet at all anyway, really. I would certainly say there'll be a follow-up, and there'll probably be some slight... There could be a civil war. Don't say I didn't tell you so, there could be. But I was relatively surprised by other sort of right-wing conservatives, you know, commentators. They've been relatively steady, most of them. Of course, there were people, you know, not happy with some of them. Other people saying, you know, they're happy he's dead and blah blah blah. Of course, you know, especially right after his shooting, he did leave two kids and a wife, so of course I wish that family recovery. But you know, this is obviously the strongest message as well, and it should be a message and lesson for everyone. Nothing's guaranteed, and really I think in terms of my particular lifetime, more experience, the influences, it's probably the first person I've been watching on and off for a few years. I didn't particularly agree with most of his views, but you know, again, he was a great communicator. Sure, I think some of his views were slightly abhorrent, but you know, at the end of the day, it can happen to anyone, especially when you enter the political atmosphere. Okay, political assassinations happen all around the world, and of course it should be a wake-up call that sometimes, unfortunately, you do reap what you sow. You know, if you want to go into the political field, things will happen, and there is nothing you can do to stop that entirely. And there is always going to be a measure of danger. I mean, even President Donald Trump had a near miss at the end of the day. It was very close, let's be honest. And I'm always very curious to know, you know, I mean, what would the briefing even look like for someone trying to prevent this happening? I mean, he was on a public university, and that doesn't really get any more public. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. And then in other words, of course, if you're not aware, the American ambassador. Okay, well, the UK, the ambassador for America, the UK American ambassador. I messed that up. Well, he's actually officially been sacked over some relation with Epstein a long time ago, and he's never really got on very well in the government. I mean, last I checked, this was a guy, if I remember, he serves me right, he even got sacked. He didn't do very well under what's his name? I've forgotten his name. The last Labour government prior. I've literally forgotten his name. I can't believe it's gone out of my head. But, you know, to be honest, you think that when you hire someone at such a prominent position, you know, you would probably do this research before. You're supposed to do the whole screening, or you're not. Now, you know, it's not really clear what the relation was. He obviously had met him, and he'd obviously got cozy with him at one point. Is the question, is every single person that's spoken to Epstein somehow part of a wider conspiracy? I don't know if that's really fair. Unless there's obviously clear evidence that, you know, he was being a bit of a nonce. But I don't know. You know, it's a very odd time. It's been a very odd 2 weeks, I've got to say, in politics, in international relations. And another more troubling time is trying to find parking in Cambridge. It seems that every other week they're doing roadworks, and they seem to have more cyclists. And then on top of that, what's even more annoying is that they give them more space on the road, they give them bigger spaces on the actual side of the roads, the pavement, and they still somehow end up being on the main road, considering they have, honestly, about a 2 metre space for cyclists of their own lane to cycle on. I mean, the Cambridge Council, my golly, who knows what it is they're up to? To be honest though, having seen some of the people that worked in the council, kind of makes sense. You know, fine, I have no problem trying to make a place more, you know, cycling friendly, but there's a lot of people that commute to Cambridge, a lot of people still drive. If you want to do shopping, you can't just carry 10 bloody bags, you know, on your back. I've seen someone try and they just fall. But you know, if you're gonna make it like a 2 metre wide lane for cyclists, why don't they just bloody let them stay on there and not allow them on the roads? I don't understand. But, you know, if someone has a better understanding and can provide me a more articulated answer, I'd love to hear. Now, if I'm not mistaken, it's supposed to actually be raining in the afternoon in Cambridge. If that is true, we will certainly find out. I don't know, I think I feel quite pretty in this. Let me know what you guys think of this outfit check, of course. Whoa! Not bad, right? Guys, and we are back. I just came back from an appointment for insoles because my left foot has always been a bit flatter than my right, and it just feels a bit nicer when I'm wearing shoes, so I got them to be moulded in. I kind of forgot it's 2 o'clock, and if anyone knows, 2 o'clock on Mill Road is really not a good idea at all. It's a terrible idea. And if you can't see, there we are. Look at all that lovely bit of traffic over there. Yeah, it's just the worst place. I need to go just get something probably from the grocery shop on the way back home. But what was I saying before? Tony Blair, that was his name. Of course, you know, the person that's been sacked recently, Lord, I've just forgotten his name again. But, you know, goes to show that, you know, sometimes even if you want to go into politics, if you want to go for the bureaucracy and what's politically correct there, you pretty much need a clean slate. But, you know, reflecting as well on, you know, Charlie Kirk, and of course there was that horrendous accident with, well, it wasn't an accident really, the Ukrainian girl in America who was stabbed by someone else on the bus, it appears, or the tram line. Again, that's just another example of that nothing's really guaranteed and anything can happen to you at any time, unfortunately. Of course, you know, obviously, you know, condolences to her family. Again, she obviously came to America to get away from the war, and unfortunately her life was taken and the place was meant to be safe for her. But yeah, lots going on. We know that Donald Trump's obviously calling on that individual to face the death penalty. A lot of people don't know. If you don't know, obviously England had a death penalty in a way. Usually I think it was more or less being hanged. Last, if I recall, I think the last kind of death penalty to take place in England was 1973, if memory serves me correct. and I believe that was simply someone getting hung. I've been very, this debate between should have the death penalty has always been a bit of a one to, it's not a straightforward argument, right? There's that old kind of Bible saying, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. But I think the biggest thing when most people are against the death penalty, especially when they have concerns about the death penalty, tends to usually be about, in terms of the level of bureaucracy or corruption of, is it very easy to have some third-party people influence someone for immediate effect of a death penalty? We know there are some people that face years of death penalty and they even never get it, or they do. Some people have had it reported in some countries and without a proper trial. Some people have been trialed and they've still been left to face death penalty, and in some very extreme cases, they've just been so old they die of old age in some of these prisons. Let me know what you guys think about that. I know it's a bit of a dark topic, but I do enjoy a bit of a dark conversation. Kind of makes you realise how complex the human mind is, and what a human can do to another human. I think often we only see this in films, but we really want to look at things like the Cold War, Soviet Union. You want to look at the invasion of Iraq, roles of CIA, Mossad, all of it. It really gives you a wider picture that there's a lot more to really understanding when just watching films or just blatantly watching your main news. Now, according to the weather, it was supposed to have actually rained, but as you can see, it's not raining. So, I don't know if it's going to rain a bit later on. That was such an annoying pothole. Honestly, Cambridge and potholes is like the worst thing you could probably imagine to do anyway. But yeah, it might rain maybe later on. Guess we'll see. But who knows? I've just had a thought, but I think I might actually get a pizza. There's a pizza shop literally around here on the left. Traffic's building, I'm going to be here for a while anyway. I need to withdraw some cash. Maybe I'll go do a bit of shopping. Keep this vlog a bit more interesting too. What do you guys think? My mother can't eat gluten, so it'll have to be a gluten-free pizza. I'm all down for that though. Although I'm thinking whether or not if I just get one for myself. I don't know, I'm feeling a bit kind of greedy today, but it's just, something about sourdough pizza. Mind you, I've not eaten anything since, 9 o'clock, so I guess it's okay to eat a pizza. I don't know if there's a rule. Yeah, you know what? I think we're going to do that. I think we're going to get a pizza. It's pretty much a bit further down the left, and I'm hoping by the time the pizza's done anyway, I'll just be able to, just drive a lot easier without too much traffic on the road as well. What's your guys' favourite toppings anyway? I have to say, I think as a child it was always something like a tuna pizza. I'm kind of going to meet ones a bit later, but then I think in Cambridge there's so many sort of pizza places, or even at home. I make it better at home. I do love, just like, sometimes simplicity can be key in terms of taste. I had like a nice basil, mozzarella, and again just like tomato sauce pizza. But I have to say, if you've not tried it, give an anchovies pizza a go with some basil and some like either olive oil or chili olive oil, entirely up to you. Oh man, that is utterly delicious. Oh, so nice. Don't know, I think this looks quite nice on me, just as a nice tie. Again, I just thought, well, the tie was hanging in my face, I may as well just try it on. And I don't know, I was feeling it, so I thought, there you go. My rule is generally always try and dress kind of like professional casual, like business casual. I just find I'm always in that position where the last time I sort of dressed a bit too relaxed, it just felt like people who I would normally wouldn't want to like see me like that saw me, and I was like, oh. And look, it's not like I necessarily care, but I still believe in it's good to sort of have like a sort of nice impression, you know. And anyway, I think when you dress up, you feel better. You know, I don't know what the psychology is, but there's definitely some kind of psychology involved in that, without a shadow of a doubt. So I went to withdraw some cash, that was fine. I then went to the pizza place and, well, guess what? It's closed at 2:30 in the afternoon. Killer. But some of the traffic has gone, so that's sort of a positive side, but we'll see if we get any food or we just go straight home. Now, let me tell you something that I will say about Cambridge. If you want to go look at where, you know, the more wealthy, rich snobs of Cambridge live, as some people might call them, this is actually a new building they made. I think it's actually very nice. It used to be like a very old run-down mansion, but it seems I guess the land was worth quite a lot, so they broke down the house that was there before and they built like a new one there, essentially. Fair enough. But if you really want to look at what some money really gets you in Cambridge, I think there's probably two areas specifically. Well, one road called Long Road, which is always ironic because, again, it's not the longest road in Cambridge. And then, in my humble opinion, I might actually say, there's an area called Newham in Cambridge, but then there's like an actual street called Portugal Place. They have got some bourgeois houses, you know, the type of houses, you know, that Lenin wouldn't have liked, you know, the proper bourgeoisies, you know, the proper Bolsheviks. Yeah, I think it's definitely going to rain though. I'm sure it's going to rain. But yeah, we'll see if we can get a bit of a glimpse of some of these houses. But I certainly know a few years ago some of these houses were worth £5-6 million. You know, it's not quite like, you know, the sort of Miami or London, even London. You've got some like £40 million flats. This is a bit, I think, a disgrace and diabolical. Let's see if we can see some of these ones here. You've got some very, very beautiful houses here. Now, interesting enough, when I was a bit younger in Cambridge, I kind of thought maybe one day as like a goal or a successful goal of mine, if that's like a target, I'd buy a house around Long Road or Trumpington Road. Trumpington Road's actually on the other side, but you probably won't see that today because I'm not going down that far today. But got some very beautiful big houses here. Some of them are 3-4. I think there's one down here about £11 million. So yeah, it's not bad at all. I think it's definitely going to rain though. Definitely going to rain. But guys, that is really everything for today. Nothing else has really happened. I'm going to go straight home. I won't be going to any shops or anything. I really want to thank all of you, and you specifically, for taking time to watch this video. It really means a lot. Yeah, maybe next time I'll show you a bit more, but certainly would like to have more conversation. Please leave your comment and your thoughts on my video down below. Anything I've said or you'd like or don't like. Again, for me to improve, I would really appreciate some feedback, so it really means a lot. So, this is Trending Brief Experience. Thank you very much, and you have a good afternoon.